Hello. I just had such an amazing interview with Marci, aka Daggers Dreads, aka Dread Pixie. She's so cool. Locticians talking to each other. I think it's something that we don't do very often. I think locticians are often quite cliquey and we can be a bit competitive. We can be very competitive. And it was just really refreshing actually to speak to her and to have like some real talk and to share our sort of opinions. It was just really great to speak to her. So I'll just cut to the interview. Hey Marci, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's good. I'm just happy to be here. Like I'm happy to even be asked to be here. So
Yeah. So nice to meet you. I'm so out of my comfort zone. I'm so nervous.
why? Don't be nervous. I'm not scary. I'm not scary. I promise.
No, you do the talking to camera bit all the time, and I haven't really done
Yeah.
it very much at all. So, but yeah, it's definitely worth doing. I think everyone needs to like link up a bit more, don't they? And like actually
Yep.
walk
Definitely.
So yes, that's what I thought. I've got myself a little alcoholic beverage as well, just in case it like calm my nerves.
Calm your nerves a little bit. Like no, you've got no need to be afraid of me. Like yeah, it took me like about a year, I think, to adjust to chatting to the camera because it was so alien to me. Like it was so like, ooh, like, and I was so scared of what people thought of me as well. Like at the beginning, I was like, oh my god, like if I chat together, they're gonna be like, shut up, bitch, like stop it.
You've got this like real sort of like badass attitude when you're doing it though. You're just like, yeah, and what sort of attitude?
I'm so aggressive. That's my problem. I'm so aggressive.
It comes across as like just really strong and confident, so that's probably a good
Cool.
thing. Yeah.
Like I'm so pleased that you approached me about it because like obviously a lot of people see me sort of like outing other locticians and things like that, and like I don't know whether they kind of view that as like negativity or whatever, but I was like it shouldn't be seen like that, like that's not what I'm about. So for you to like reach out to me, I was like yay, like she's not scared of me.
No, I don't know, like I get on quite well with people like that. Like it starts with like I suppose like when you're a quiet one and like you've got like the kind of more outspoken, confident, seemingly confident people out there, you can be like intimidated by them to start with, and then you can be like, actually, like they're probably just as nervous as I am most of the time, and like actually, you're saying a lot of the things that I'm thinking. So, you know,
Good.
yeah,
Good.
it's nice that someone can be out there and just honest and just say what they mean.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool, man. I'm glad that you like support me. That's fucking awesome. Because I know quite a few locticians that have like mentioned you to me before and stuff like that. Like Meg's Locks, like yeah, she's like mentioned you to me, and she's like she loves your work. And then obviously my client as well, coming and being one of your students. Yeah, that's madness. But I did say to her, I was like, if I can't get my training out or whatever, please, please, please go to Jordan because like she seems to be like on it. So
yeah. Well, I'm trying. I think it's just about like sort of spreading some like I don't know, like some good habits out there. I think there's quite a lot of people. I don't know. I was just seeing a lot of like unusual things popping up in the old, in the world of locticians, and I was like,
oh yeah,
try and fix some of that.
yeah, it's really odd out there at the moment. It's like a battlefield at the moment. Everybody's like competing against each other, and I'm like, whoa, like chill.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I say to people as well, like I don't feel like competition is such an issue if you're like actively trying to find or have found your own personal style, like
Yes.
if because no one can be you the same as you, so it's just that's how I see it. But
Finding your mark, isn't it? Like 100%. So what is it that you wanted to talk about? I'm so excited.
so got a few questions to run through and then just see where we go from there. So how long have you been making dreads for?
I think I'm on my 13th year.
Yeah. Yeah, same here, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. Well, you can tell just by the standard of your work. You can tell. Like, I was like, this bitch has got some mad skills going on. Like, you
Oh,
must have been doing it for a long time.
thank
So
you.
yeah, 13 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
oh, likewise, obviously, like the level of quality and like the neatness and the color blends and stuff in your work is just like, everyone's talking about it. So like,
Oh, amazing.
yeah.
Cool.
How did you get started? Talk me through that.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is quite a funny story, really. I started really, really looking into it. Like I kind of liked it because I was part of like where I'm 32, I'm like part of the old school, like cyber goth kind of styly
Mhm.
era.
Yeah.
So that was like my draw to it, kind of like, but like the dread obsession itself like goes all the way back to I was 11.
Hmm.
So like it all started off with my cousin, and then I got obsessed with her because she was like really goth and awesome, and then like it just naturally progressed into a passion. And then I was with this guy, and he was the most boring man on the planet. So I was like, how can I entertain myself in this really toxic relationship? And then I've like really got into teaching myself how to do it.
Hmm.
So I first of all I started finding like videos from Dr. Locks, because that was all that was out there
Yeah.
at the time. Like that woman was like a savior because she just explained everything. She was the first one of her game. Like she was awesome. So I just basically just started to like practice from there. And then it just became like a thing where I do my own hair. And then people started asking me how I was doing my own hair. And then I was like, maybe I should like turn this into a business.
Hmm.
So that's how it
Yeah.
all kind of started.
Yeah, it's so amazing, isn't it? That the first time when someone says, "I'll pay you to do mine," it's just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that would be
Yeah,
awesome."
you're like, what? Like, hold on a minute. Like, this is crazy. Okay.
So it started as your hobby. Do you think it still feels like a hobby, or does it feel more like work now?
Now it feels like work.
Yeah.
Now it definitely feels like work. It started as a way of me having cool hair and not paying for it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my intention. I was like, how do I get really cool hair and not have to pay somebody else to do it? I was like, there must be a way. So yeah, and then it kind of developed into my career, and then everything went from there. And then yeah, now it's just, yeah, it's just a career. It's just work. Like it's insane that you can turn your hobby into such a stable career as well. Like I think both of us hit the industry at exactly the right moment,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
we kind of did it at pretty much the same time. I mean, I've been in business for like 4 going on 5 years now. Like, is it the same for you or?
Yeah, something like that. I feel like it started like as a business almost straight away, but it was just we didn't really know what business meant at the time, if you know what I mean. People were paying you to do, your mates were paying you, and we had a bit of a jam on MySpace and things like that. But
Oh my God, the MySpace days.
yeah, exactly. What did we used to visit? We used to look at a website called Angry Canine Love Stick. I don't suppose you remember that.
No, I do not remember that. Like, I don't know. What was that about? Like, what was that?
It's not. Yeah, it's like a really weird name for basically an American website of like a forum of ladies sharing their synthetic dreadlock techniques, how to
No
make all different
way.
kinds of synthetic dreadlocks, and
Well,
braids.
you've just taught me something. Like, I didn't even know that existed. I had no idea.
Yeah, like anyone watching this that used to go on Angry Canine Love Stick, you should totally.
Yeah, shout out. Like,
Yeah.
come on, we need to hear this. We need to know who was on this forum. Like, we need to
Yeah.
know all your stories.
But it felt like there wasn't anyone else out there at the time. For me, I was like, am I the only one? It was like me and another girl that used to do it. Yeah, it didn't feel like there was anyone else out there, but because there wasn't the social media that we have today, I mean, yeah, there was MySpace. YouTube didn't occur to me, to be honest. I didn't see Dr. Blocks
No.
quite a bit later. But,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
I was exactly the same. Like
yeah,
YouTube like came so much later, and like now it's amazing, like such an amazing platform. However, you do have to fight your way through all the rubbish information. because
Yeah.
some of the information out there is horrendous. Like, no. But yeah, this is what we're here for. This is why we're like trying to motivate people to actually look the right direction.
So, like, what sort of hurdles have you encountered over the years? How did you overcome all of any negativity that you might have come into contact with?
Oh, negativity. It was never aimed at, like, I've been one of the really lucky ones, if I'm honest. Like, I have never been privy to any of the cultural appropriation stuff. I don't get any of that. Like, I don't get any racism stuff. I don't get any of that kind of thing, which I know is very familiar in the industry, that a lot of white women get a lot of hate for doing this as a job or whatever. But I've never really come across any of like that as such. For me, it's been more about my fight to kind of get the right information out there, because so many people are so confused about what's right and what's wrong, and should they twist and rip their hair, or should they stay away from that, or you know. And then the products as well, like I have a real big thing about the amount of products that get flogged online to everybody. It's not necessary. But like, as with like starting my business, weirdly enough, where I started on the Isle of Wight, I never thought in a million years that it would take off. The island is 20 years behind the rest of the planet. Like, their mindset, the way they think, they're so chilled out, it's so laid back, that I thought that that was going to be my one hurdle, was to try and convince people over here to have their hair done. And it wasn't. Like, so I don't think I've ever had the natural hurdles that everybody else has had to come into contact with. Like, everything's kind of run pretty smoothly for me. My biggest problem is where people my biggest hurdle is trying to get people away from just jumping into the industry with no experience, no interest, no experience, no research, no nothing. They just jump in because they see money, and they don't think that there's any hard work involved, which is not true at all. There's so many hours and tears and anger and frustration and wasting hair, so much hair wasted in the process of developing your style. And I feel like a lot of people tend to jump in, and then they become like your main competition because they're new, and it's like, oh my goodness, like, what? No. Like, come on guys. Like, that's why I started to put the length of time that I've been doing it for, like, in my bio and stuff, so that people understood that, like, please don't go to somebody who's been doing it for 5 minutes, because they will ruin your hair and it will suck, and then you'll come to me anyway. So yeah. Exactly. But other than that, like, I don't really feel like I've had like major I mean, have you experienced anything? Is there anything specifically for you? Like, you might trigger something in my head if you can think of anything specifically.
Well,
I was saying to my housemate earlier, I mean, you're very much like, you stay in your own lane. Like, I don't see any drama come from you. I don't see any like aggression come from you. Like, you literally just do your thing. You're good at what you do, and you stay out of all the drama. Like, so it's nice. It's refreshing to see. I try to, but they gravitate towards me.
Yeah. Well, I'm quite averse to confrontation, so I do try and avoid it at all costs whatsoever. So it's I don't know, it's a scary world out there, isn't it?
Yeah, they can get real like aggressive about stuff, but I think the majority of the people that come my way now on my platform, because I've got the variation between the dreads and the self-help and the coaching and all of that now, people don't tend to come at me with like anger. They want me to talk about it. So like, one of the, like, going back to the cultural appropriation thing, I had a conversation with a young girl recently. She was only 15, and she messaged me out of the blue, and she had this like overwhelming sense of like protection over like ethnic communities and stuff like that. Like, as a white 15-year-old, to like stand in the name of them, and they were like, aren't you profiting off of like a hairstyle that's like to do with them or whatever? And I just sat there and kind of talked to her, and I was like, yeah, but what if my intention is not that at all? What if it's, I want it to be okay for anybody to go anywhere and get their hair done, and it'd be okay? Like, there's no problem, there's no fear of walking into a salon and asking to have your dreads done, and then stylists don't look at you like you're crazy. Like, because at the moment that's what happened. So, and then she was like, she kind of flipped her perspective by the end of it, and she was like, oh, okay, like I understand now. And I was like, we're trying to make everybody equal, not trying to push people further apart into these boxes that have been created. And she was like, oh, okay, cool, like I get it now. And she just off she went, kind of thing. So that seems to be like the main hurdle that you have to come across, is convincing people that your intention is not to step on anyone's toes.
Hard to imagine anyone thinking that that would be the intention, in a way, isn't it? 'Cause it's like, oh my goodness, no. No way.
Yeah, that's not
going for
no, we just want to do cool hair, like that's it, like literally.
Yeah, I mean, Locke's origins are so hard to pinpoint, aren't they? And I don't like to be one of those people that says, you know, like, oh, you know, the Vikings had them first or anything, because who knows, really? It's really down to, like, I don't know, I think it's just being accepting that some people's opinion is that they came from this place or this place, this place, and just being like, okay, that's your opinion, and I do it for my reasons. I personally, I feel like I was born to do this. Like I can't do anything else with the same passion and the same enthusiasm. Like this is what I really like. It keeps me going, basically, and always has done since I was a young teenager as well. So like I can't not do it. So I obviously am respectful if that upsets some people, but I know I can't do anything to change that. So
exactly.
Argument, really.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's cool that you can just like detach yourself from that, because a lot of people, I find, they give into it and they start arguing it, and then they get into the negative arguments and stuff like that, rather than just accepting that it is what it is. And unfortunately, like that's the way people have like been conditioned to believe, that it's like that kind of industry, but it's not at all like that. We are here to change this.
Yeah,
this is
we're
our mission
anyway, like it's not
100%, like is that the only like kind of thing that you've come up against, is like the hate side of stuff? Like
and only like once, really. That was like once about 7 years ago. There was an incident with another Loctician, and a photograph that started circulating of that particular Loctician at a festival wearing some inappropriate German themed fancy dress.
Wow. Okay.
Doing an inappropriate German
yeah, I get the gist. I get the gist of what was going down. Yeah.
So it was obviously a joke. That's obviously their sense of humour, and I understand that was like for comedy value, but it got out, it went viral, and it just went round the world, and any directly linked businesses to his got a barrage of hate messages. Like we all got 1-star, like hundreds of 1-star reviews on Facebook and nasty comments. And that was just that one time, and it was basically a week of my life where I was just like
I'm not surprised. That's intense, man. Like I think another thing actually that you can come up against is copying.
Yes.
Like wow. Like wow, like it is so rife at the moment. How many people are copying each other, and like mainly me, like I've noticed that. I don't know whether that's like an egotistical thing to say, but like the way that I accessorize my stuff and always have and whatever, like I don't know whether you've noticed, but like skull beads are now a thing everywhere. Like, and they initially started with me. It took me ages to fucking find some skull beads just to make it. So like copying, and it's not flattery in my eyes. It's like, at least if you view somebody as a inspiration, credit them.
Credit them, or try and put your own spin on it. Maybe try and make it so that the pictures don't look exactly the same, like angle wise and light.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Like I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, you have to try and take it as flattery, but I understand why you feel like that's because it's like creativity, isn't it? It's like an art form in a way. So
yeah.
So you're making quite a lot of wigs at the moment. Like, is there anything like wig wise that you wanted to make that you haven't done yet, that you're sort of building your way up to, or?
My one of my dreams that I've had like the whole time, and I'm working my way up to it slowly, is to get into like costume design for film sets.
Oh, sick. That's different, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the wigs are going.
Yeah.
Like that's where it's coming from. Like that's where the hair pieces have come from. Everything like that. Like anything to do with like movie sets and stuff. Like I feel like that's just a whole new like universe of
Mhm.
being able to create just like crazy looks, and then adding that together with like models and then the costume and all of that sort of thing as well. Like yeah, like my brain goes like endless like designs in my head. But I thought like the wig thing was more of like an option for people that couldn't commit. Like I was still finding that there was that weird stigma attached to dreadlocks, where people couldn't have them for work and things like that. So I was like, do you know what, like how can I get around this? Like I'll go into wigs and see what happens, like see whether there's anything that I can like do there. Like there are some crazy designs that have come in, but there is a lot of like science behind a wig. Like you can't have too much on it, like the weight wise and stuff like that. So like I think the possibilities are endless. But if I can get into like the film industry, like I would love to work with someone like Rob Zombie, like super crazy out there, like doing hair pieces for him and doing hair designs for him. Like anybody who's part of like that kind of industry is going to understand what I do and the direction that I'm going in. Because anything and everything that I do has to be different. Like I can't follow I can't do it. Like I have to be a trendsetter rather than like somebody who follows the crowd. So with the wigs, I have moved into hand making them now. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that as well as like the wigs I'm already doing. Like I'm a nightmare. Like I just keep moving on and moving on and moving on, and then I exhaust myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at the moment it's just like film set work. Like I'd love to get onto there, and then I think I'd have had my moment then where like working on a piece like oh my gosh, what is her name? I've got a picture of her on my wall. From Pirates of the Caribbean, Calypso.
Yeah,
From
yeah,
Pirates of the
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like working on something like her, amazing. Amazing. I would love to do something like that.
And the
That
whole
would
like
be,
post-apocalyptic style and stuff, like yeah, just hopefully they'll make more movies like that, really, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and Pirates of the Caribbean. I've often looked at Pirates of the Caribbean actually, and like looked at Jack Sparrow's dreads and be like, I could have done a better job there, I reckon.
Yeah, totally. I am right there with you. I've done that so many times where I'm like, nah, bitch, who made this shit? Like, we need to talk.
Yeah.
Like, why is this so famous? This sucks. Like, he could have had them so much better, but it's all good. It's all good.
So, is there a piece of advice that you wish you could have given yourself back at the beginning when you first started, like knowing what you know now?
Don't compete. Don't compete. Just do you to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And try not to compete. But also, I spent a lot of time hiding in the background. I mean, I've only really been out, like, as kind of like out, if you know what I mean, like for a couple of years, because I was so scared to show my face, and for people to then, for me to then in my own mind take it as like a personal attack because they've seen my face.
Yeah.
Like, so I was so good at like hiding away, and then I just got to a point where I was like, just get out there, show them the face behind the work, show them who does it, because at the end of the day it is you, and you need to be proud of what you've done. And if they then connect with that as well, like even better. But I feel like that delayed my progression massively because I was so scared of what people were going to say and what they were going to think, and whether they thought I was full of myself, because like you and me, like we both have, like, we're both attractive girls, do you know what I mean? And then like you've got some people that focus on your face rather than your work.
Yeah.
And you're so scared of like going like, yeah, but I want to feel hot, do you know what I mean? Like I want to feel pretty, like I'm human as well, like I'm not just this machine. But I did let myself, my self-doubt like majorly play a part in
Yeah.
that, and it definitely stopped my progression for a long time.
I remember when I first found you, and I think your Instagram was kind of maybe at the level that mine is now, sort of like maybe like 2.5, 3,000 followers sort of thing. And I was just like, wow, this girl's work is sick. And I think I messaged you around that time and just said, by the way,
Yeah.
just wanted to let you know, like, I really rate your work. It's really good.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful for that. Like, I love that. Like, I love that you reached out. Like, there's a couple of you that I've been talking to. Meg's Lock, she's one of them.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Like, you girls have been on my radar for a long, long time. Like, I've done so much research. And I have built like nice friendships within the community, and then there's others. But like, we don't talk about those. Like, yeah, so.
But like, did you find there was a correlation? Because from my perspective, there seemed to be a correlation between when you first started doing video stories and all of a sudden your followers just going like through the roof, basically. Like, it seemed like that was
I kind of do. Like, there's like a correlation. There's a slight correlation between me and the growth, but mainly Shelley Inferno. Like, come on. As soon as she got involved, that was it. Boom. Like, which was amazing for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll forever be grateful to her for that, because she really did connect with me on a level. Like, and we just worked together, and boom, it just, yeah. But I collaborated with a few people behind the scenes before that, and nothing. Big names as well. Big names, like in the industries and stuff, and nothing. And then she came along, and that's kind of what pushed it. Like, and then me being unapologetically me as well. Like, you now know, like, you've spoken to me like now, and this is like not an act. The exact person you see on the screen is the exact person that you get in real life. So I then had to just kind of like really be me and try not to script my stuff too much, and try not to focus on what people are going to think. And then the more I did that, the more people kind of like gravitated towards me, because I felt like it's like they kind of got the personal experience with you before they booked.
Yeah.
So they had an idea of who they were going to be booking with. So that massively helped people feel really like more, I suppose, like more confident about approaching me and talking to me directly.
Because a lot of people, if they're travelling distance to come and see you, it's the same for my clients. If they're coming the long distance, they kind of want to know who they're coming to see, and it might be intimidating. A lot of our clients are, might be the sort of people that like suffer from anxiety and things like that. Like, if you're like a sort of alternative crowd, then often those sorts of things are an issue for you. So it really helps to know the face, at least, if not the if not, I've heard the voice.
Definitely. I've noticed you started like posting a little bit more of you. I'm like, it's creeping in there slowly. I'm like, yeah. Finally.
Brave. It's like it's not my natural state really, but I'm working on that. I like to write. I'm quite good at writing.
Oh, cool! Awesome.
I'll write a good sort of like caption and stuff, but it's the talking to the camera just when it's just me can be.
It's such an alien thing to do. I think like people just don't. I think you just have to ignore it and just be like, okay, they like you have to kind of pretend that your camera is an audience. So you are specifically talking to someone. Like, at first I kind of had to just pretend that it was like one person or whatever, but then you kind of get the idea that there's like thousands of people behind this, like, and they're all kind of watching. But I think it makes you feel a little bit safer as well, like just being in your own environment, and being able to sort of like make the videos over and over again. It kind of like boosts your confidence a little bit after a little while, and you start to see like, and as much as people like to think that likes and follows don't make an impact on your mindset, they do. They do. Like, when you see the result of like posting a selfie, you're like, okay, like, trust me, for about 2 years I dug my heels in, and I was like, I am not posting my face, because I don't want that to be a reflection of my work. Like, I just didn't want it, like, at all. I didn't want, weirdly enough, ironically, I didn't want what I've got now. I wanted to just do my thing, make my money, like, live my life, and just be an underdog kind of thing. And it didn't work out like that. Like, not at all. But
But
Yeah,
it's networking,
definitely.
isn't it? And networking leads to you never know what's going to come from it. So, you know, one thing
Yeah.
is net fame, and then another thing is, you know, the potential jobs that you didn't know you wanted that come from it.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Definitely.
So, have you ever had imposter syndrome? I suppose that's sort of a link there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. 100%. Like when I used to look at the likes of like I can never pronounce her name. It's the Swedish girl. Um
Style, I think it is.
yeah. At first I used to be super intimidated by her and Modlocks. Um because mainly because they've been in the industry for so long, not because they were better than me or anything like that, just because they'd literally been in the game for like 2 decades or whatever. Like they'd been here like a while. So
Yeah.
I was like, how am I gonna get myself a name? Like how am I gonna like kind of thing? And then when I got it and the reach started coming in and the followers started coming in and the attention started coming in, I was like, this isn't, no, like shit, what have I done, kind of thing, because I was like, now everyone's looking at me, like, and I did that and that's all the pressure on me now. But also I was like, what are these women going to think about me, like coming up, like when you think they've got 20 years behind them, and I 100% respect that. To them behind the scenes, like the 13 years of practice doesn't matter. Like to them, in their eyes, they probably feel like this girl's been doing it for 4 years. Like who the fuck does she think she is? Do you know what I mean? And that's very much what I used to tell myself. So I'd be like, oh god, like everyone's gonna hate me or whatever, and it went the other way. The more I did me, and the more I just continued to just ignore it, it came in even faster. And yeah, my career just got better and better and better because I didn't care. And then also I kind of like, the imposter syndrome kind of went away when I sort of like started to realize like Modlocks is in Canada, Science Style is in Sweden. Like these girls aren't my competition, they're my peers within the industry. So there's no reason to be like worried about them. And then like, where are you based?
Ipswich in Suffolk.
Fucking hell, really? I didn't even know
Yeah.
that. I didn't even know that. Yeah. So like, then there was like you in Ipswich. There was me on the Isle of Wight, man. Like I was so out of the way that I was like, you're not an imposter. Like you're just good at what you do. But I feel like there was a lot of shame, but that was like down to my own mindset, my own personal circumstances. That I was like ashamed of doing well. But now I don't give a fuck. Like, no, I'm here about shouting everybody out. I'm like, get in there, do it, go on. Like, and I just like push everybody. But like beforehand, I was so scared for a long time.
Yeah, no, yeah, it can be scary. I suppose it's like teaching yourself to not really be bothered, or to not really think about it too much, what they think, because they may very well think something, but like it hasn't actually crossed my mind what other.
Really?
Yeah, but then I'm like safe in my little bubble probably in that respect, like, you know, trying not to offend anyone. Sort of
Yeah.
like it almost be better to be like really like out there and proud rather than just trying to keep, you know, yourself to yourself, sort of thing.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, what did you do before you did dreads?
I was a photographer, so but actually,
Wow.
you know what, I did dreads first. I started doing dreads when I was 17, and before that I probably worked in like a couple of shops and stuff like that. But like when I was 21, I went to London to be a photographer, and did
Oh,
the two along, like parallel to each other really, but the photography was my full-time job, and then dreads was evenings and weekends. And
amazing.
for a bit, like I did a couple of injuries in my hands and stuff, so it was like maybe like 6 months or something where I just couldn't do any dreads at all, and it was like the worst 6 months ever. Like
Really? Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
yeah.
that sucks, man. Like, yeah, I had like wrist problems at one point. Like that really got to me for a little while. I had to wear like a wrist brace and stuff because it was really like, but then I kind of like took that as a warning shot kind of thing. I was working like way too hard because at one point, like, I mean, I don't know whether you like experienced this, and I was getting so many orders in at once that it was like causing me physical injury because I was trying to get them out, like putting way too much pressure on myself and stuff. So yeah, that sucks when you can't work.
That happened again recently, actually, and I was starting to get quite
Really?
concerned about it. Yeah, my boyfriend's quite good at helping me organise my time and my diary and everything. So he's just like, it's okay, just relax.
What
Breathe.
zodiac sign is he?
He is Capricorn.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, nice, stable.
Yes, nice.
Yeah.
That's why he's the organizer. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's what I needed. That's what I was looking for this time round, really, with him, because we met a couple of years ago, and I was like really adamant, like I knew exactly what I was looking for. No more Scorpios, basically for me.
Oh God, no! They're the worst. Like, no offense, Scorpios out there. No offense. I'm sorry, but like you can be the worst.
Yes, I wanted someone that is stable and organised, basically, to help me.
Okay, cool.
Make sense
Awesome.
of everything. And he does that for me. So like he helps me sort of organise, so I'm not like physically drained all the time. I'll wear a support on my, because it's this part of my hands that gets
Oh really?
I'm using a lot of this, so
Yeah.
that's the part where I get repetitive strain injury, so I have to keep
Yeah,
up.
it sucks. It hurts as well, man. Like my wrist, like mine was like mainly from like where you like press the hair round, like, and twist your wrist, like obviously, and then you like obviously pulling it round and whatever, and it's just this one.
Yeah.
Quite a while. But like where I've like upped my client base and stuff now, like I've managed to be able to get myself in a position where I could pull myself back for my own like self-preservation. Do you know what I mean? Because it did get to a point where it was crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I find like different tasks as well like require different movements, and there's obviously some tasks like doing your admin stuff and doing your social media and stuff where you can literally just sit on a laptop and work. And so if you can if you can space out so you do like a few hours of crochet and then a few hours of the computer, and then maybe have dinner and maybe like go to sleep for a bit and then like do something completely different the next day and put something completely different the next day. That's how I can't crochet for like 3 days on end anymore. I used to be able.
No, neither can I. That's like a massive bit of advice as well. Is like, don't burn yourself out.
Yeah.
Don't burn yourself out, people, because it's not worth it. Like, it's really not. The money is not worth the fact that you could fuck your career if you carry on.
So if you hadn't have gotten into hair, obviously you say that you started getting into it like at age 11, so it must be really hard for you to imagine anything else. But if you hadn't have gotten into hair, what do you think you would have been doing?
Well, weirdly enough, I haven't done dreads like for that long. Like I literally have done dreads for maybe my like 5th year now, like professionally. Yeah. So before that, I was a manager for Sainsbury's. Can you imagine? 4 years. 4 years as well. Like, wow. How mental is that? Like, me of all people, manager for Sainsbury's, like whatever. And I had this, weirdly enough, I had this discussion with my friend the other day, and I have always envisioned myself like working for myself, in like a creative outlet of some form. Mm-hmm. But if it naturally, strangely enough, like this is like a reveal to you. My business is going in a different direction entirely. Entirely. Yeah. I didn't realize that doing dreads and connecting with people would then shift my perspective, and that would become my main focus, was that like the people that I managed to help, because people when they come to do dreads, it's very, very different to a salon, because we are one-on-one for long periods of time. We get to build up really, really nice connections with our clients, really strong, really lovely, loyal bonds with them. And we get to know so much about them. And you hear about like hairdressers getting like told everything or whatever, like all the time. But with us, I feel like it's a lot more intense. We take a lot more on. And I've always enjoyed talking people's problems with them and stuff like that and whatever. So I feel like if I hadn't gone into dreads, then I think I would have naturally gone that direction anyway. Like, because I really enjoy helping people.
Yeah, like a therapy type, basically. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
what it's
Like
like.
that to me gives me the same, like, oh my God, like, do you remember this feeling? Like, I don't know if you still get it now, but do you remember the feeling when you first started out and you had your very first few clients and just the energy that came off of them when you'd finished their hair?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that feeling is unbelievable. Like, seeing that person with you for like 8, 10, whatever, however many hours it takes you to do their hair, like 2 days even at times. And the emotional feeling, the rush between you and them when you're done is like, it's irreplaceable. You
Yeah.
cannot exchange that feeling for like anything. And that's the feeling that I kind of get now from like helping people too. So I'm like, because unfortunately my business went more online focused, because of the wigs and because of the clip-ins, because of all the temporary solutions that I gave people. It kind of went naturally in the direction of me being online, so I kind of lost that buzz for it. Like, I lost that human connection.
Yeah.
So I started to find that elsewhere online. So naturally I just feel like all I'm here to do is just, like, typical Pisces, just here to help people and just make them feel happy, whether it's through hair, whether it's through talking to them about their problems, whether it's like doing, like, giving them makeup tips, or just telling them they look beautiful, something, anything. That's like our calling, is that we just want to make people feel amazing about themselves. So
Yeah.
anything in that, like, kind of like area would have suited me down to the ground, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and that's obviously where you've sort of gone into the astrology as well.
That's only been around for 4 years as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it just I didn't even notice it until it was like, oh, now you're doing horoscopes essentially, which is just like really cool, really different.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I had no
Yeah,
idea
it's
you
kind of
were Pisces
mental.
actually.
Huh?
I had no idea you were Pisces actually.
Did you not?
No, you must have told me at some point, but like,
Yeah, I knew that you were. You're literally on the cusp, aren't you? If I
yeah,
remember, yours is like the 19th. Is it
yeah,
19th of March? No, Feb.
February, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 19th of Feb. I remember everybody's fucking right. I'm really weird, yeah, because I can remember people's dates of birth and their zodiac sign and their details of their natal chart more than I remember their names. It's
Wow,
really bad.
it's amazing.
Like, it's really bad. Like, it's a problem. But yeah, I remember that. Like, and I knew you were on the cusp of like Aquarius, Pisces. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, that's why you were so in your own lane.
Yeah.
On the cusp, like, Aquarians don't want to get involved in none of the nonsense. So I was like, she's like well and truly on the cusp of the two, because she stays in her own
Yeah,
area. Like, yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I find I never
Well,
meet other Pisceans, right? Like not like hardly at all. Like if we do, it's like ships in the night sort of thing, you know. Like
oh yeah.
never a
Yeah,
lasting.
we're that annoying sign though, where everybody wants to be friends with us and no one can pin us down.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I really want to be friends with that person. Like, who are they? And we just like swim away. We're like, bye bye. See you later. That's what I do anyway.
Yeah. I'm just inundated with Aquarians. I'm always surrounded by them.
Oh my God, I was as well.
Yeah.
For the longest time, Aquarians everywhere.
Yeah. And it's always like we always have a lot in common, but not quite enough to make like a deep and meaningful relationship. And that's all I'm really interested in, is like a real, you know, proper connection type relationship.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
otherwise it's just like, was, you know.
Yeah, it's too shallow. Conversation's too shallow. Everything's too shallow. Goodbye. Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Don't even get me started. I'll start crying about the planet, man. Like, I do this on a regular. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know. I think it would just be to make people, I think it would just be to like open their eyes right now. Right now, my superpower would be to open people's freaking eyes to what's going on around.
Yeah.
Like, that would be my superpower, to just touch them and make them be able to see, like, from a completely different perspective, and for them to realize that the way that things are at the moment, it's not what it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they don't have to live in like a depressed, anxious state. Like, they could just be happy and find a career like we have, that we're passionate about, and open their mind, like unlock that, like, I don't know, like their like potential basically in people, just to see whether they would like automatically be like, oh my god, I want to do this, and then they'd find their purpose. Like, because I feel like me and you were very fortunate in finding our purpose very early on. And not a lot of people get to that point. I mean, you're 30 now. Are you 30?
Yeah, I'm 31.
Yeah, so you're 31. Like, I'm 32. So we're very lucky to have had like an extensive career as such, like in our 20s, whereas like a lot of people don't get that. So I'd love to just be able to like touch them and be like, there you go, now you know what you need to do, goodbye. Like, that would be amazing. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, yeah, likewise, really lovely, thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, but we'll keep in touch anyway. We'll keep in touch more regularly now.
All right then. Well, I'm sure I will speak to you soon. It's like, it's been amazing. Like, you're so good at what you do.
Oh,
And just just fucking believe in yourself, man, and whack those prices up.
Yeah. Cool. So good luck with your stuff, with your name change.
Whatever mission I'm on. I'm just on this crazy mission. But yeah, you'll see what I'm up to.
Yeah, cool.
Oh.
Touch.
All right, babe. Speak to you later.
Bye. I hope you really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching the interview with Dread Pixie.